There's been some controversy over the ending of the long-awaited sequel to The Last of Us. People either love it or hate it. And before I finished the game, I thought, no matter how Naughty Dog decides to end this, I'll at least be satisfied. I can't say I'd be happy, because in this world, not many people get happy endings.
Please get up!
I did say there would be spoilers, right? So I didn't wish for a happy ending, just a satisfying one. But when I finished the game, I felt bitter. To be honest, I didn't know how I felt. In fact, I was confused as hell about how I felt. Ellie was left with nothing to return to, and we have no solid hints as to what she's going to do next. The entire game, Ellie had nothing but rage inside. She fought to find Joel's killer in a desperate attempt at revenge. Multiple people told her not to go. She ignored them all, and when she finally had the chance to exact revenge, she doesn't take it. She pulls herself away, realizing that this won't bring her any closure. Beating Abby and bringing her to the brink of death, but realizing this won't bring Joel back. And it's not going to stop her from hearing his screams in her nightmares. So in a way, she redeems herself, which very often, narratively speaking, calls for a reward. But instead, it feels like she's punished. Dina has everything packed and moves out of their farmhouse. Abby bit off 2 of her fingers, rendering her incapable of playing guitar, arguably the closest thing to a connection with Joel that she had. And this is what made me so angry. Why, after everything this girl has been through, is she still being punished? After this huge redeeming moment, she chose to stop chasing revenge. Abby was in the same situation and chose the same path. When she had the chance, she let Ellie survive, and she was rewarded with a connection to the Fireflies. So why not Ellie? In the first game, we at least have a bittersweet ending. Joel saves Ellie's life, but at the cost of a vaccine. So why was this ending just bitter? And to understand this, I had to go back and understand the difference between these 2 games. Both games have themes heavily surrounding grief. And what better place to learn about grief than one of my favorite TV shows?
Lay all your grief out in front of you. The air nomad's love for you has not left this world. It is still inside of your heart and is reborn in the form of new love.
The difference is in how the characters overcome their grief. Joel loses his daughter Sarah at the beginning of the first game. The love Joel felt for his daughter didn't just disappear. It was reborn in the form of new love for Ellie, and she became like a second daughter to him. He fought throughout that entire game to protect her. On the other hand, Ellie lost Joel. But the love she felt wasn't reborn. It was twisted into anguish and drove her towards revenge. The same goes for Abby, of course, who wanted revenge for her father and Owen, her best friend? Right. Anyway, Ellie fought throughout the entire game not to protect anyone, but to avenge Joel. You might say that Joel had a healthier response to his grief than Ellie had with hers, and therefore was rewarded with a bittersweet ending. Except, Ellie redeemed herself in the end. Ellie left Dina when she went after Abby, so we really can't blame Dina for leaving when she had no clue if Ellie would even survive the encounter. She couldn't wait in that house forever wondering, so I consider that fair game. After all, Ellie was still planning to take revenge when she left, which, narratively speaking, calls for punishment. But let's go back to Joel's guitar. I said before that it symbolized her last remaining connection to Joel, and that losing her fingers and her ability to play meant that she lost that connection. But what if it was meant to symbolize something else? What if instead it symbolized Ellie's unwillingness to let go of someone she lost, her obsession with exacting revenge on his killer, and her inability to deal with her emotions and move on? If we view the ending again with this perspective, then Ellie isn't really being punished for her decisions anymore. She's leaving behind this unhealthy relationship with grief and begins the process of figuring out how to cope. Hopefully, she forgets her regrets and lets her love for Joel be reborn.
I don't think I can ever forgive you for that. But I would like to try.
I like that.
Maybe this is just my way of twisting around what the ending meant until I felt satisfied with it, but I prefer to think the actions of a character have some influence over the kind of story they deserve. So I'm sticking with it. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Today's enough.